If a married woman shows these 7 signs, she's likely attracted to you. Psychology tricks. Gentlemen, pay close attention because what you don't see often shapes your reality more than what you do. Many men move through life assuming that marriage is a wall no attraction can cross, believing a woman's commitment makes her immune to noticing another man. That belief sounds logical, but life rarely follows logic when it comes to human emotion. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Attraction operates beneath the surface, quiet, instinctive, and often unspoken. It doesn't ask for permission from rules or titles, it simply appears. In this discussion, we're uncovering subtle, easily missed signals that may reveal when a married woman feels drawn to you, not the obvious, dramatic gestures, but the quiet behaviors most men overlook until the moment has already passed. A grounded man doesn't rush to react or get lost in fantasy. He observes. He understands. He stays in control. Because the real advantage isn't in chasing what you see, it's in recognizing what others fail to notice. Awareness is power. And when you begin to see clearly, you move through life with a different kind of confidence, calm, steady, and unshakable. Sign 1. The way she talks to you changes. Sign 1 is where illusion fades and clarity begins, because the way she talks to you is no longer casual. It's intentional, focused, and quietly revealing more than words ever should. She doesn't engage with you the way she does with others, and you must not ignore that difference, because difference is where truth lives. Difference is where interest grows. Difference is where attention becomes selective and deliberate. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel, and right now, the way she speaks to you is designed to create a feeling, a connection, a subtle emotional thread that pulls you in without force, without noise, without announcement. She asks deeper questions, not out of politeness, not out of habit, but out of genuine curiosity. She wants to know how you think, how you see the world, what shaped you, what drives you, and that is not surface-level conversation. It is emotional investment. It is a woman choosing to explore your inner world instead of just passing time. In modern life, where everyone is distracted, where conversations are shallow, fast, and forgettable, when someone slows down to understand you, that is not random, that is rare, that is meaningful, and you must recognize it for what it is. She remembers details, small things you mentioned in passing, stories you barely thought mattered, opinions you shared without emphasis, and weeks later, she brings them back into conversation as if they were important, because to her, they were. And that is the signal. Attention creates memory. Memory reveals interest. Interest reveals intention. As Dale Carnegie taught, to be interesting, be interested, and she is doing exactly that. She is investing mental energy into you, storing information about you, using it to build connection. In a world where people forget quickly, remembering is a choice, remembering is effort, remembering is a quiet form of pursuit. She finds reasons to talk to you, not obvious reasons, not dramatic ones, but small, consistent openings, a message without urgency, a question without necessity, a topic she knows will pull you into conversation. This is where many men make a mistake. They think it's coincidence. They think it's friendliness. They downplay it. They hesitate. But you must not be blind to patterns, because patterns reveal truth. Patterns repeat for a reason. Patterns show intention over time. When someone consistently creates space for you in their day, that space is not empty. That space is reserved. That space is chosen. And that is powerful. But here is where your discipline is tested. This is where most men lose control. They get excited, they lean in too fast, they respond with too much energy, too much availability, too much emotional reaction, and in doing so, they destroy the very dynamic that created the attraction in the first place. So you must remember this clearly. Attention is not a command for you to chase. It is a signal for you to observe, understand, and remain centered. Because the moment you lose control, you lose the advantage. You lose the clarity, you lose the respect that comes from restraint. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes your foundation, because Stoicism Win is not about suppressing emotion, it is about mastering it. It is about feeling everything, but being ruled by nothing. It is about having an iron mind that does not react impulsively, but responds with intention. In this situation, your power lies in calm awareness, not in excitement, not in assumption, not in fantasy. You observe her words, you notice the effort, you recognize the pattern, but you do not rush to define it. You do not rush to act on it, because a man with an iron mind understands this. Time reveals everything, patience exposes truth. Discipline protects him from mistakes. In modern relationships, especially in a world filled with mixed signals, emotional confusion, and constant digital communication, the man who wins is not the one who reacts the fastest, but the one who interprets the clearest, the one who sees what others miss, the one who stays grounded while others get carried away. That is you. That is the standard you must hold, because Stoicism Win is built on awareness, control, and quiet confidence. Remind yourself again and again. Don't chase signals, understand them. Don't assume meaning, observe patterns. Don't lose control, maintain it. Because the moment you become reactive, you step out of your strength. But when you stay centered, when you remain calm, when you let her actions reveal her intentions over time, you become the man who leads the situation without force, without pressure, without losing himself. And that is the ultimate position of power, not loud, not aggressive, but steady, controlled, and unshakable, guided by old Stoic wisdom, strengthened by an iron mind, and proven through Stoicism Win in the way you move, the way you think, and the way you handle moments like this with clarity, discipline, and quiet mastery. Sign 2. She finds reasons to be around you. This one is subtle, but powerful, so subtle that most men miss it entirely, and yet so powerful that once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing a pattern. Not once, not twice, repeatedly. She's there, around you, near you, within your space. Maybe it's a social gathering, a casual event, or even a routine environment, and somehow, she always ends up closer than expected. She chooses the seat near you when there are plenty of others available. She joins conversations you're already part of, even when she wasn't initially included. She walks past you more often than coincidence would reasonably allow. And here's the truth, that's not random. That's intention, even if it's unconscious. People don't drift aimlessly toward others without a reason. Human behavior is guided by attraction, curiosity, and emotional pull. When someone feels drawn to you, their body moves before their mind creates an excuse. That is instinct. That is psychology in motion. Don't dismiss it. Don't overanalyze it either. Just observe. A high-value man understands this balance. He doesn't chase illusions, but he also doesn't ignore consistent signals. He pays attention to patterns, because patterns reveal truth. Anyone can appear once by chance, but repetition? That's where meaning lives. And you must train yourself to notice repetition without becoming reactive. Stay grounded. Stay composed. That is masculine energy in its purest form, not rushing, not assuming, not seeking validation, but simply seeing clearly. Now let's go deeper. Ask yourself, is she creating opportunities to be near you, or is she just coincidentally existing in the same space? There's a difference. Watch how she positions herself. Watch how she enters your orbit. Does she adjust her path slightly just to pass by you? Does she linger a bit longer when you're nearby, even if she has no clear reason to stay? These are small behaviors, but they speak loudly. And remember this, attraction often hides behind plausible deniability. She won't make it obvious. She won't announce it. Instead, she'll create situations where being near you feels natural. That's the game. That's the subtle dance. And if you want to attract women, you must learn to read the dance without interrupting it. Don't rush forward. Don't confront. Don't assume. Be still. Observe. Let her come closer. Let her reveal more over time. A high-value man doesn't force clarity, he allows it to unfold. There's also something deeper happening beneath the surface. When a woman repeatedly puts herself in your proximity, she's testing emotional comfort. She's asking herself, without words, how do I feel around him? And every time she chooses to be near you, she's gathering data. She's measuring your presence, your energy, your reactions. This is where masculine energy becomes critical. Because if you become too eager, too reactive, too obvious, you break the tension. You remove the mystery, and attraction fades. But if you remain calm, centered, and slightly detached, you amplify that tension. You give her space to feel, to wonder, to become more curious. That is how you attract women without saying a word. That is how a high-value man operates. He doesn't perform. He doesn't impress. He simply is. At the same time, don't become naive. Don't build fantasies in your head. Just because she's around you more often doesn't mean you've won anything. Stay realistic. Stay disciplined. The goal is not to chase every signal, it's to understand them. Because understanding gives you control, and control keeps you grounded. A man who loses control of his emotions loses his advantage. So be sharp. Be aware. But remain steady. Notice how often she enters your space. Notice how she reacts when you acknowledge her presence. Does she stay? Does she engage? Or does she pull back slightly, testing your response? These micro moments matter. They tell a story far more honest than words ever could. And here's a key insight most men overlook. Proximity is comfort. If she repeatedly chooses to be near you, it means she feels safe enough to do so. That's not something to take lightly. Emotional comfort is the foundation of attraction. Without it, nothing grows. But don't confuse comfort with certainty. She may feel drawn, but she may also feel conflicted. That's why her behavior appears subtle, indirect, even inconsistent at times. And that's exactly why you must stay composed. Don't push her to define anything. Don't force a moment that hasn't fully formed. Be patient. Let her actions speak. Let her proximity increase naturally. Because when attraction is real, it builds quietly before it becomes undeniable. Think of it like gravity. You don't see it. You don't hear it. But you feel its effect over time. Objects move closer, slowly but surely, without force, without noise. That's how genuine attraction works. And if you are a high-value man, you don't disrupt that process, you allow it to happen. You become the center, not by chasing, but by standing firm in who you are. That is masculine energy at its peak. Calm, controlled, unshaken. So, what must you do? First, pay attention. Patterns over moments. Second, stay grounded. Don't react emotionally. Third, maintain your space. Let her enter it. Don't collapse into hers. And finally, respect the situation. Not every signal is an invitation. Not every attraction needs to be acted upon. Wisdom is knowing the difference. And that's what separates a man who simply notices from a man who truly understands. Because in the end, this isn't just about reading her behavior. It's about mastering your own. It's about becoming the kind of man who sees clearly, moves wisely, and never loses himself in the process. That is how you attract women. That is how you embody masculine energy. And that is how a high-value man navigates even the most subtle signals with clarity, control, and quiet confidence. If you're seeing the pattern, don't ignore it, because awareness is what separates a reactive man from a disciplined one. A man who understands attraction doesn't chase. He observes, he stays grounded, and he moves with intention. That is your power. If this message hits, take action now. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp insight, and drop this in the comments to lock it in your mind. I see the signs, but I stay in control. Sign 3. Her mood shifts when you're around. This is where most men either gain clarity or lose control. You walk into the room and something in her changes. Not loudly, not dramatically. Subtle, but undeniable. She becomes more animated, her voice lifts, her energy sharpens. Or she goes the other direction, slightly tense, a bit restless, as if your presence disrupted her internal balance. Understand this. People do not shift emotionally without a reason. As Carl Jung once implied, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. And in this case, everything that changes in her around you points to something deeper beneath the surface. Attraction is not always expressed in words. It leaks through energy. It reveals itself in emotional reactions that cannot be fully controlled. That is why you must watch carefully, not react, not chase, observe. That is the discipline of a man who lives by old Stoic wisdom. That is the foundation of Stoicism Win. That is how you build an iron mind. Now listen closely. Many men see these emotional shifts and immediately let their imagination take over. They assume, they fantasize, they create stories that have no grounding in reality. That is where they lose power. That is where they become reactive instead of intentional. Do not make that mistake. You are not here to guess. You are here to read reality as it is. If her mood lifts when you enter, it means your presence has impact. If she becomes slightly unsettled, it means your presence creates tension. Both are signals. Both matter. But neither should control you. Because the moment you let someone else's emotions dictate your behavior, you lose your center. And a man without center cannot lead, cannot attract women in a healthy way, and cannot maintain masculine energy. Stay grounded. Stay steady. Stay in control. Modern life makes this harder. You are constantly exposed to noise, social media, endless opinions, instant validation. You are trained to react quickly, to chase attention, to seek confirmation. But real strength does not operate like that. Real strength is quiet, controlled, patient. When you notice her mood shifting around you, do not rush in to figure it out. Do not confront. Do not test. Do not overanalyze. Just take note. Store the information. Let patterns reveal themselves over time. That is how a high-value man operates. That is how Stoicism Win becomes a lived reality, not just a concept. Remember what Epictetus taught. No man is free who is not master of himself. This is your standard. This is your rule. Her emotions may rise. Her emotions may fall. But your state remains steady. You do not mirror her instability. You do not absorb her tension. You remain calm, focused, unshaken. That is iron mind. That is old Stoic wisdom in action. Because attraction is not just about what she feels, it is about how you respond to what she feels. Most men fail here. They get pulled into the emotional current. They become reactive. They lose clarity. And in doing so, they lose the very thing that made them attractive in the first place. Let's make this practical. You walk into a gathering. She notices you. Her posture changes. She becomes more engaged in conversation. Maybe she laughs a little louder. Maybe she adjusts her body position to face you. That is not random. That is not coincidence. That is a response. Or maybe she becomes quieter, slightly reserved, a bit cautious with her words. That is also a response. Different expressions. Same underlying principle. Your presence affects her internal state. And that tells you something important. You are not invisible to her. But again, do not jump to conclusions. Do not label it too quickly. Attraction is complex. Context matters. Patterns matter. Time matters. This is where your discipline separates you from the average man. You must train yourself to see without reacting, to understand without attaching, to notice without needing immediate answers. This is not passive behavior. This is controlled awareness. This is strategic patience. And in a world where everyone reacts instantly, this alone gives you an edge. Because while others are busy chasing signals, you are quietly reading them. While others are losing themselves in emotion, you are strengthening your iron mind. And here is the deeper truth. You are not observing her to gain control over her. You are observing to maintain control over yourself. That is the real victory. That is what Stoicism Win truly means. Because when you master your reactions, you stop being dependent on external validation. You stop needing her mood to confirm your worth. You stop being pulled in different directions by emotional signals. Instead, you become centered, grounded, self-directed. And that is exactly the kind of presence that naturally attracts women without effort. So the next time you notice her mood shift when you're around, don't get excited too quickly. Don't overthink. Don't chase meaning that isn't fully formed yet. Just observe. Stay calm. Stay sharp. Stay in control. Let time reveal the truth. Because a man who lives by old Stoic wisdom understands this simple principle. Clarity comes to those who are patient enough to see and strong enough not to react. And when you live this way, when you build that iron mind, you don't just read attraction better, you rise above the chaos of it. Sign 4. She suddenly cares more about her appearance. Sign 4 is subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. She suddenly starts caring more about her appearance, but not in a general, everyday way, in a focused, intentional way that feels almost like a quiet signal directed at one person. Let me slow this down so you truly understand what's happening beneath the surface, because this is where most men miss the deeper layer of female psychology and overlook one of the most powerful psychology tricks at play. You're at a familiar setting, maybe a casual gathering, nothing special, nothing formal, and then she walks in. You've seen her before, you know her usual style, but today something is different, and it's not loud, it's not exaggerated, it's precise, controlled, almost calculated. Her hair is done with care, not just styled, but refined. Her outfit isn't random, it's chosen. That is the key word, chosen. You must pay attention to intention, not just appearance. Anyone can dress well, but not everyone dresses with purpose. And when a married woman begins to elevate her appearance specifically in moments when she knows you'll be present, that's where how to fall in love subtly begins to take shape, not in words, but in effort, in energy, in attention to detail. Don't brush it off as coincidence. Don't tell yourself, she just felt like dressing up. That's the easy explanation, the comfortable one. But attraction is rarely comfortable, and it certainly isn't random. It's instinctive. It's selective. It follows attention. Notice the small things. Maybe she wears the fragrance you once casually complimented, even if you barely remember saying it. Maybe she chooses colors that you once reacted to, even slightly. Maybe her posture changes when you're near, shoulders back, movement slower, more deliberate. These are not loud signals. These are refined signals. That is how female psychology operates at its most natural level, quiet, indirect, but deeply intentional. Be calm. Don't rush to conclusions. But don't ignore patterns either. Patterns reveal truth. One moment can be dismissed. Repeated behavior cannot. And this is where many men fail. They either overreact and create stories in their head, or they underreact and stay blind. You must do neither. You must observe. That is your power. From a grounded, disciplined mindset, your role is not to chase meaning, but to recognize it when it consistently shows itself. And understand this clearly. When a woman invests more effort into how she presents herself around you, she is, in her own subtle way, stepping into the early emotional stages of how to fall in love, even if she would never say it out loud. She may not even fully understand it herself. That's the nature of attraction. It often moves beneath conscious awareness. That's why psychology tricks work so effectively. They align with instincts, not logic. And here's the deeper layer most people overlook. This behavior is not about impressing everyone. It's about being seen by one person. You. That's why the change feels different. It's not louder, it's sharper. Not broader, but more focused. So don't seek grand gestures. They rarely appear in real life. Instead, train your eye to notice refinement, consistency, and timing. When does she put in the effort? Where are you when she does? Who is around? These questions matter. That is how you move from guessing to understanding. And once you understand, you don't need to react emotionally. You stay centered. You stay grounded. You simply see reality for what it is. Because real strength is not in chasing attention, it's in recognizing when attention is already being given. Be the man who observes without needing validation. Be the man who understands female psychology without becoming controlled by it. And most importantly, don't lose yourself in the signal. Stay aware. Stay steady. Because awareness, not reaction, is what puts you in control of your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately, your direction in life. If you can see this clearly, don't ignore it. Don't overthink it. Just observe, stay grounded, and hold your composure. That's where your power is. And if you understand this, drop a comment right now. I see clearly and I stay in control. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp insights, and remind yourself every day, awareness is power. Reaction is weakness. Stay steady. Sign 5. She subtly seeks your validation. This is where things move from surface level curiosity into something far more telling, far more intentional, and far more revealing if you know how to read it correctly. At first, it won't be obvious. It rarely is. But look closer, pay attention, and you'll start to notice a pattern forming right in front of you. She begins to care about what you think, not casually, not occasionally, but consistently. She asks for your opinion more often, not because she lacks answers, but because your perspective suddenly holds weight in her world. She speaks, then pauses, just for a second, watching your reaction, measuring it, feeling it, and adjusting herself based on what she sees. That is not random behavior. That is emotional investment quietly unfolding. And if you understand female psychology, you know this is one of the clearest psychology tricks attraction uses to reveal itself without ever saying a word. She may start sharing slightly more personal thoughts, opening small doors into her inner world, not all at once, not dramatically, but in careful, calculated steps, because she wants to know, how will you respond? How will you judge? How will you receive her truth? And here is where most men fail because they misunderstand the moment. They rush in, they overreact, they chase, they try to impress, they give too much validation too quickly, thinking that's how to fall in love or create connection. But that is exactly where they lose their edge. Don't do that. Don't rush to validate. Don't become predictable. Don't give away your approval like it costs nothing, because it does. And a grounded man understands that his validation has value, his attention has weight, his presence has impact. Be calm, be observant, be selective. That is the difference between reacting and leading. When you understand female psychology at a deeper level, you begin to see that attraction often hides behind subtle tests, quiet signals, and unspoken questions, and this is one of them. Do you see me? And do I matter to you? But here's the truth. You must never answer that question too quickly, because mystery builds tension, and tension builds attraction. Psychology tricks are not about manipulation. They're about awareness, about seeing what others overlook, about understanding the emotional dance happening beneath the surface. She seeks your validation not because she needs it, but because she wants it from you specifically, and that distinction matters more than you think. A high-value man recognizes this shift and adjusts his energy accordingly. He doesn't become colder. He becomes more intentional. He listens more carefully. He responds with clarity, not eagerness. He gives approval when it is earned, not when it is requested. That is how respect is built. That is how attraction deepens. That is how to fall in love without losing yourself in the process. And let's be clear, this is not about control over her. It's about control over yourself, because that is where real power lives, in your discipline, in your restraint, in your ability to stay centered when emotions start to move. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events," and this is exactly that moment in real life, where you either stay grounded or get pulled into emotional chaos. She is watching not just what you say, but how you say it, how you carry yourself, how steady you remain, and every reaction you give is data to her. Every word you choose is a signal. Every pause is a message. So be deliberate. Be precise. Be composed. Don't over-explain. Don't overgive. Don't overchase. Instead, let your presence speak. Let your calmness lead. Let your standards show, without needing to announce them. Because when a woman begins to seek your validation, she is not just testing your interest. She is measuring your strength, your stability, your emotional control, and whether you are a man who can hold his ground or one who bends too easily. Psychology tricks, female psychology, how to fall in love, these are not just phrases. They are reflections of deeper truths about human behavior. And if you understand them, truly understand them, you don't just react to attraction. You navigate it with precision. Remember this, always, validation is powerful because it is scarce, and a man who gives it wisely becomes unforgettable, but a man who gives it freely becomes invisible. So stay centered, stay aware, stay in control, not of her, but of yourself. That is the real mastery. Sign 6. Her body language speaks louder than words. Words are easy. Anyone can choose them, shape them, even hide behind them. But the body? The body doesn't lie. It reveals what the mind tries to manage. It exposes what the heart is quietly feeling beneath the surface. That is why you must learn to watch, not just listen. Most men miss this. Don't be most men. Be aware. Be present. Be the kind of man who sees what others overlook. Watch closely, not in a needy way, not with tension, but with calm attention. The kind of quiet awareness that defines a high-value man. When she leans in while speaking to you, understand what that means. People don't move closer to what they feel indifferent about. They move closer to what draws them in. That slight lean forward? That is not accidental. That is interest pulling her in before logic has time to interfere. Now notice her eyes. Eye contact is one of the purest signals of human connection. Does she hold it just a moment longer than necessary? That extra second matters. That is where curiosity lives. That is where attraction begins to reveal itself. Don't rush to fill that silence. Don't look away too quickly. Hold your ground. Stay composed. This is where masculine energy shows itself, not in force, but in stillness. Then come the subtle gestures. Small, almost invisible to the untrained eye. The tilt of her head when she listens. The way her fingers brush lightly against her hair. The soft touch at her neck, as if she's unconsciously drawing attention to vulnerability. These are not random movements. These are ancient signals. Signals of openness. Signals of comfort. Signals that say, without words, I feel something here. But here is where most men make a mistake. They see these signs and immediately react. They rush. They chase. They break the very tension that created the moment. Don't do that. You must remain grounded. You must stay centered. A high-value man does not react impulsively. He observes. He understands. Then he chooses his response with intention. And then there's mirroring. This is one of the most powerful psychological cues you will ever witness. If she begins to copy your posture, your gestures, even your rhythm of speech, that is not coincidence. That is subconscious alignment. That is her mind saying, I feel in sync with this person. Human beings mirror those they feel connected to. It's automatic. It's instinctive. If you lean back and she follows. If you slow your speech and she matches your pace. If you smile and moments later she reflects that same energy, pay attention. This is not something you force. This is something you recognize. And when you recognize it, you don't become louder. You become calmer. You don't try harder. You become more effortless. That is how you attract women without saying a word. Her body orientation matters too. This is something most men completely ignore. Where is she facing? Is her body angled toward you, even when others are around? That tells you where her attention truly is. People naturally turn toward what they value in the moment. If her feet, her shoulders, her energy are directed at you, that is focus. That is interest being expressed physically. And distance tells a story. When she stands just a little closer than necessary, when she steps into your space without hesitation, that is comfort. People guard their personal space carefully. They don't allow just anyone in. So when that space becomes smaller, when that invisible boundary softens, understand what is happening. That is trust beginning to form. That is an invitation, not spoken, but clearly felt. But listen carefully. This is where discipline matters most. The Stoic rule applies here with absolute clarity. You do not control her signals. You control your response. That is the difference between a man who chases and a man who leads himself. You must stay calm. You must stay grounded. No matter what signals you notice, your center must remain steady. Don't overinterpret. Don't assume. Don't build fantasies in your head. Be present with reality. Observe what is there, not what you wish was there. This is the mindset of a high-value man. He does not get lost in emotion. He understands emotion, but he is not controlled by it. Masculine energy is not about reacting to every sign of attraction. It is about holding your frame regardless of what you see. It is about being the same grounded, composed man whether she leans in or steps back. That consistency is rare. That consistency is powerful. That is what allows you to truly attract women without effort. And here's the deeper truth. Body language is a language of comfort. When she feels safe, she opens. When she feels tension, she closes. So don't try to win her reactions. Focus on your presence. Be calm. Be steady. Be someone who creates an environment where she naturally relaxes. Because in the end, attraction is not something you force. It is something you allow. You create the conditions and then you step back. You don't chase the signal. You become the man the signal is responding to. So remember this. Watch her body, but master your own. Notice her signals, but control your reactions. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Stay sharp. That is how a high-value man moves through the world. That is how masculine energy quietly shapes every interaction. And that is how you truly attract women without needing to say a single word. If you see the signs, don't rush. Don't chase. Be the man who observes, understands, and stays in control. That's where real power lives. If this opened your eyes, like the video, subscribe for more sharp insights, and drop this in the comments right now. I observe more than I react. Sign 7. Playful teasing and light flirting. Playful teasing and light flirting. This is where most men lose their footing, not because the signals are loud, but because they are quiet, smooth, and easy to misread if you don't understand the deeper layers of female psychology. It begins innocently. A joke here. A playful comment there. Nothing obvious. Nothing you can point to and say, that's clear attraction. But don't be fooled. Pay attention. Watch the pattern, not the moment. She laughs a little longer when you speak. Not polite laughter, engaged laughter. She teases you in a way that feels personal, not generic. That is not random. That is investment. And when she finds small reasons to touch your arm, to close the distance, to remain in your space just a second longer than necessary, understand this. People don't create proximity without a reason. That is female psychology in motion, subtle, layered, and often hidden behind what looks like harmless fun. Now here is where most men make a critical mistake. They react instead of observe. They assume instead of understand. They rush in, thinking this is an invitation, when in reality, it is often a test. Don't rush. Don't assume. Be still. Be aware. Because playful teasing is one of the oldest psychology tricks in attraction. It lowers defenses. It creates emotional tension. It builds a private world between two people without ever making a direct statement. That is why it is powerful. That is why it is dangerous if you lack discipline. She is not just joking. She is measuring. She is watching how you respond. Do you become needy? Do you try too hard? Do you lose your center? Or do you stay calm, grounded, and in control of yourself? That is what she is really looking for. Understand this clearly. Attraction often grows in silence, in subtle exchanges, in moments that outsiders would completely overlook. This is how to fall in love at a psychological level, not through grand gestures, but through repeated emotional spikes, small moments of tension, humor, curiosity, and connection. She teases you. You respond with calm confidence. She leans in. You don't overreact. You match her energy without chasing it. That balance creates something powerful, but only if you remain aware, only if you understand what is happening beneath the surface. And here is the truth most people avoid. Just because attraction is present does not mean action is wise. Attraction is natural. It is biological. It does not ask for permission. It does not follow rules. That is why self-control matters. That is why Stoicism is not just philosophy, it is protection. You must not lose yourself in the moment. You must not confuse attention with intention. You must not allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. Be the man who sees clearly. Be the man who feels, but does not get carried away. There is a quote often attributed to Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That applies here more than ever. Her teasing, her laughter, her playful energy, these are outside events. Your reaction is your power. And most men give that power away too easily. They get pulled into the game without realizing there is a game being played. Don't be that man. Stay centered. Stay aware. When you understand psychology tricks and the deeper patterns of female psychology, you stop reacting blindly. You begin to see intention behind behavior. You recognize that teasing is not just teasing, it is a bridge, a way to create connection without risk, a way to test emotional chemistry without commitment. And if you don't understand that, you will either overstep or miss the signal entirely. Both are mistakes. So what should you do? Simple. Observe first. Respond second. Never reverse that order. When she teases you, don't jump to impress. Don't try to win her approval. That weakens your position. Instead, stay relaxed. Smile. Match her energy, but keep your composure. Let her come closer without you chasing. Let her invest without you overinvesting. That is balance. That is strength. That is how to fall in love without losing yourself in the process. And remember this, not every signal is an invitation. Sometimes it is curiosity. Sometimes it is boredom. Sometimes it is simply the natural flow of human interaction. That is why awareness is everything. That is why discipline matters. Because when you combine emotional awareness with self-control, you become a man who cannot be easily shaken. A man who sees clearly, acts wisely, and never gets lost in temporary emotions. Playful flirting feels light. It feels easy. That is exactly why it is so powerful. It bypasses logic. It speaks directly to emotion. And if you are not grounded, it will pull you in before you even realize what is happening. But if you are grounded, if you understand psychology tricks, if you respect the complexity of female psychology, if you master your own reactions, then you are no longer at the mercy of the moment. You are in control. So don't ignore the signs. But don't chase them either. See them. Understand them. And most importantly, remain steady. Because in a world full of emotional noise and mixed signals, the man who stays calm, who observes deeply, and who acts with intention, that is the man who truly understands both attraction and himself. Hey, I appreciate you staying with me until the very end. Now listen closely, because this is where most men either rise or lose control. You've just seen the signs, the extra effort, the body language, the deeper conversations, the playful energy. They're real. They happen every day, but don't get carried away by them. Don't rush. Don't assume. That's where mistakes begin. Be the man who understands, not the man who reacts. Be calm. Be aware. That is your strength. Because attraction, by itself, means nothing if you don't have discipline behind it. And not everything that feels good is meant to be pursued. Sometimes the strongest move is restraint. So take this knowledge and use it wisely. Not to chase, not to impress, but to stay grounded, sharp, and in control of your own path. If this made you think, drop a comment and share your experience. I read them all. And if you want more real, no-nonsense insights like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.